Hey, everybody. Today, we're going to take a look at two different online map making websites that will hopefully help us out in our Dungeons and Dragons adventures. Up next. What is up, everybody? This is the Techno Funk Boy. Really appreciate you coming here. I'm going to a little bit early, as far as recording this goes, a little bit early, say thank you for 500 subs. As I'm recording this, I'm actually 2 away. And so it's going to be a couple of days before this video actually goes up. And so I'm trusting that we're going to get those final 2. So if you look down and I don't have the 500 subs, please feel free to leave comments and just be merciless. All right. But that being said, doing Dungeons and Dragons stuff on YouTube has been a ton of fun. If you are new to this channel, I do a lot of Dragonlance stuff, and we've been going through the modules, the original Dragonlance modules, and kind of going through and giving some ideas on how to run these, just tips for dungeon masters and tips if you're wanting to move these into 5th edition and that sort of thing. There's been one thing that hit me very, very early on in this, and that was that getting scanned copies of maps out of these old modules is not fun, and it's not. And my personal Dragonlance game is done online, and so that trying to get this stuff into like Roll20 and stuff has been difficult. So like even from Zaxxaroth, I started making my own maps. Now, my original Zaxxaroth map I did in GIMP, which is kind of like Photoshop, and it took me forever. And it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. But it was very, very soon thereafter that I discovered a couple of different tools online that has helped a lot. Now, there are a lot of these. And there are some that people just absolutely swear by. These are the ones that I go to. I haven't tried all of them, but these are going to be 2 that I've been using and I've been having a lot of fun with and I'm having a lot of success with. And so this is not necessarily saying that these are the 2 best on the market. I don't know. I haven't tried them all, but they are very good for what they're doing. So, let's go over to the other screen here, and we're going to load up. We're going to load up. First of all, this is Dungeon Scrawl. Now, Dungeon Scrawl is a free website, and of course links will be down there, but it's Dungeon Scrawl. It's a free website. You'll notice in the upper right that there is a way to become a patron of this, but this has been a really, really great tool in making very, very quick maps. So there's different tools that you can use that are just going to, like, we're just going to make a super long hallway. This is ridiculously long. This is, 69. Squares long. That was quite unintentional. But you're gonna see here. You're gonna see here that it produces right away a very, very cool kind of hand-drawn feel to it, without a lot of frills to it. But it's super, super easy to use. So that's just kind of the straight line. You have polygons that you're actually going to be able to pick just by hitting the number keys how many sides this particular polygon has. So 0 is a circle, and put it in there. Doors, also very, very simple. Stairs, you do one side of the stairs, and then you can kind of taper it down as much as you want. So The final thing is, one that you can actually just kind of wind around yourself. And I think I have. Oh, I do have the rough quality to it, which lets it kind of look a little bit more jagged. And I just hit the wrong thing on that. Let's try that again down here. All right. You can turn off the rough and just make it a winding cavern. So I've actually used this to live map an adventure that we could not get. It was I was a player in Avernus, and the Dungeon Master could not get the maps to work, and so I opened this up and just started live mapping the dungeon that we were in, and it worked exceptionally well, especially once you kind of get used to the controls a little bit. This goes exceedingly fast. There aren't a lot of like frills and stuff in it. Now you can add some graphics, and so you can we can put some barrels in here. Like I'm zoomed way out, but so let's zoom in a little bit so we can kind of see. We can put some barrels in there, a bed. It does rotate, and so you can kind of place it however you want. There are a lot of graphics preloaded in here that you can kind of put in as much as you want. That's not what this thing does best, but they are there and they can add a lot to it. I personally don't like that as much because I have this what kind of looks like a hand-drawn, rough estimate of a dungeon here, and I kind of like it like that. When you start adding a bunch of stuff in there, it lessens that feel for me a little bit. But that being said, I've definitely used them, and especially with very, very, very important stuff. And so I will, like, if there's something like critical about this room, I'll try to find some representation for it. A lot of what I'll do in here is you turn on the erase, and you can let's say there's an altar on this side of the room. You can make it like that very easily. That's Dungeon Scrawl. And so, as we mentioned, I think the advantages here is it's super, super fast. And I have made very, very large maps in a very short period of time on this. I live streamed the making of Zaxxaros lowest level. So if you're familiar with Dragonlance, then you might be familiar with that particular level and how big it is. But here I did it very, very quickly. This actually makes as large of a map really as you want. And then you can save the file that you can load later into Dungeon Scrawl, or you can save an image of however big you want it to be. And it will download with the actual dimensions, and you set those dimensions in Roll20 and it fits perfectly. That I absolutely love, and I've used the snot out of this website. Now, for a little bit more detail, we got Inkarnate. So ink like INK, inkarnate.com. Again, links down below. Now, there's a free version of this and there's a pay version of this. The pay version is really, really cheap. And so I have the pay version. And I've been loving this. This is going to be where I want some more detail to things. All right. So any backgrounds you can paint on. You can either do hard edges or you can do soft edges with them. And then you use stamps for everything else. All right. So, like here we might be doing like like a wall here, and you can twist it to whatever degree you want, and it goes like full on 360 degrees on here. You can just, like, what I normally do is set it to the hard edge if I want it to be the hard edge here. And you can build things out like this. Now, it is running a little bit slower than I'm used to. Of course it is right when I'm trying to build this video, but it's going to be fine. All right, so we might make a little house like that, and then go back to our catalog, and let's see if we can try to find some, like, let's do wood. Yeah, small wood floor, and you can set the size. You can actually set this to be a square, and put a wood floor in it. Open a catalog of all of our stamps. We're going to look for a bed. All right. So I made this really, really tiny, but we can shrink these elements. We can move them to whatever angle we want. And there's a lot of different stamps in here, which are really, really cool. And so, I'm going to show some kind of finished products here. Inkarnate takes more time, and so it's like if you need to get something done fast, I'm going to Dungeon Scrawl. Inkarnate is going to give you a lot more detail to it. So a couple of them that I brought up as comparisons, and these are from Dragonlance. As you can see from the images and all, if you are new here, this Dragonlance is a little bit of our focus here. But so on this one, I didn't do this. I didn't do one of these in Dungeon Scrawl, but the one on the right is from the modules, and this is the End of the Last Home. It's very, very simple, black and white. You can see the level of detail I was able to get using Inkarnate, and so there's a lot more vibrancy. There's a lot more life in this particular image that I think works out really, really well. Now, the other one is actually Zach Sarath's first level. This is the top level. This is the temple area of Zach Sarath. The upper left one is the one from the 3.5 edition book. Very, very simple. I made one out in Dungeon Scrawl, and that's the one on the middle on the right. Not really any better than the original, but it gives me a super, super clean copy that I can dump into Roll20 very, 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 very quickly. Inkarnate is bottom left, and now there's a lot of stuff that I'm able to add now in here that is not even in the original one. So, like the color of the doors, let's see if I can blow this up a little bit for us. All right. So, like the color of the doors, like those two entry doors are gold, and you know that I can put that in there. The benches off to the side are not notated in the original map, but they are in the description, and they are described as marble pew benches. Now, Inkarnate doesn't have a marble bench, but it has a wooden bench, and you can change the color correction of it. And so I just brought it a lot more white and gray, and very, very simple. Was able to make kind of a marble bench. Same thing with the kind of the podium lectern at the front. I was able to color correct that into being a little bit more detail. This dungeon doesn't have the most color to it, but you can see that there's a lot more vibrancy even in even in a lot of stone and marble, that I think is a lot of fun. So these are the two that I use. Now I am trying to, I don't have all the maps of Dragonlance. I'm trying to make them as I go through the game. And I'm also, Inkarnate was one that I started using more recently. And so I'm going back and building some of those old dungeons, original dungeons that I've already passed with Inkarnate, because I really like map making, and I have all of these on my Patreon, just not trying to make money for them. If you join my Discord and ask me for one, if I have it, I'll give it to you. It's not, these aren't my maps. These are just, the ones that I've created based on the original maps. But Patreon is a really nice place to store everything and makes it a lot easier to find them if you are trying to go back into, and get stuff. But links to both of those are down below. If you join the Discord, if you're looking for some Dragonlance maps, I might, there's a halfway decent chance that I have them, especially if they're early on. I did most of the early dungeons in Dungeon Scrawl, and we'll be having the Inkarnate ones there soon. I'm interested. Like, what do y'all use for maps? Like, unfortunately, this is I don't have a lot of in-person games. When I do in-person games, I'm normally like, I've got like the grid, the dry erase grid out, and we're drawing as we go. But I'm using Roll20 a lot, and so having these kind of maps are really, really helpful for me. What do y'all use for that? I'm interested to hear your experiences with other programs and that sort of thing. If you are not subscribed, especially if I haven't hit 500 yet, please do subscribe. And if you would, while you're down there, put a thumbs up on this video if you enjoyed it. A comment is always very, very helpful. I have a whole series of Dragonlance videos where we're going through the modules one by one and giving ideas on how to run them, as well as some video game music and some other stuff that's coming up. So I really appreciate you hanging around this long in this video, and thanks so much. And I will hopefully see you next time. Take care.